You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Stag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon throwing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew. From the Harlem Sanctuary, the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Shape of a War Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on the court for 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been serving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Brown or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back.
Man made the car. Man made the train. Man made the electrolyte.
Who would you like it to be? Good. Go for it, boss. Yeah, you're gonna talk to me about this. I'm gonna see now if he has a shred of integrity based upon what happened yesterday. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Sarge.
We're gonna find out if he has a shred of integrity. Today is the test.
It's 34 counts, Sarge. 34
All right, now
counts
listen
that
to
they
me.
can
Listen to me.
pick this crooked bastard on.
Shabaka.
And then the
Shabaka.
sad part about it is, Sarge, they didn't remand his ass to custody. Now something
Shabaka.
is freaking wrong here.
Shabaka.
Yes,
Shabaka.
Yeah.
Now, listen to me now. I know you want to gloat.
Okay.
I can understand why you hate Donald Trump. But if you are consistent in any way, shape, form, or fashion with travesties of justice, as you claim happened against the Black Panther Party, and you do not, even if you like this outcome, and you are not prepared to admit to the innumerable number of reversible errors on appeal with this thing, then I submit to you, you don't have much in the way of integrity. And I mean every single syllable I said.
Okay, Sarge. Now, one thing about you, Sarge, you do stand on your own square. Although, Sarge, you don't have a bucket to piss in on this one in the window to throw it out of.
Oh, no. See, the only way you can say that is to not allow me to tell you why this thing is purely Soviet, Third Reich, fascist show trial. Now, if you don't let me tell you why in great detail, then you're right. I guess I don't have a leg to stand on, but I believe I do because I could go into chapter and verse.
Okay, now, Sarge, tell me this here, Sarge.
Okay, I'll be standing by.
Sarge, we've been waiting.
I'll be standing
Sarge,
by.
Okay, Sarge, we've been waiting on you. I'm gonna love this shit. I really am.
Look, I expected this. I'm not a bitch. I told you repeatedly this was going to be the outcome, didn't I? I'm not surprised. I'm not a bit surprised. I'm not shocked. Wait a minute. I'm not shocked. No, yes, and I still say that. Oh, no. I still say that. They didn't have anything, and they still don't have anything on them. But I said the outcome was foreordained. The judge gave them in his jury instructions a roadmap to convict him. What?
Now, Sarge. Okay, now, Sarge. Now, Sarge.
Oh, no. I'm completely consistent. Completely. Now, I did not say that. I said repeatedly, the best he could know. No, sir. I said the best he could hope for was a hung jury, and I said a hung jury was unlikely.
Yeah.
I said the only two outcomes for this trial was a conviction, more likely than not, and highly unlikely a hung jury. I said it repeatedly. You cannot say I said it. I know I did.
Okay, but Sarge.
I said no such thing. Sir, you were not listening to me at all. I defy you. I'll put $1,000 on the line. I will put $10,000 on the line. I want you to go back to any show where I have a time on this matter. And if you hear me say anything to that effect, I will give you $10,000. You don't have to give me a thing. You ain't going to put up nothing.
Sarge.
I never said that. Never, not one day. I knew this thing, the fix was in from the beginning. Wait a minute. I don't know why you're unable. I don't know why you're unable to separate. Look, I speak so clearly, and I speak exactly my mind. I don't know how you could come to that conclusion.
Okay, Sarge, please don't hang. Yes, sir. I'm back in Sin City. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is a fact. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, we're going to give Sarge the floor for 10 minutes. Now, Sarge, you got the floor for 10 minutes, Sarge. And please explain to me, Sarge, of how this crook of a president, okay, of how this criminal has the audacity to get up here and say, poor little me, you know what I'm saying? And why should we believe him? Okay, Sarge.
Okay, well, I thought you were going to give me something difficult to do, because this is like a layup. This is like a slam dunk. I mean, this is about as easy as possible to do, to show you why. And you don't have to look. You can come up with all these characterizations, little quaint, cute characterizations like poor little me. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that what we witnessed yesterday was the biggest travesty of a third-rank Soviet sham trial in the history of the United States, especially one with a major figure of which millions of eyes were on the process and on the verdict and the procedure and almost every motion. This was unprecedented. It has nothing to do with whether you like Trump or not.
It is unprecedented.
It has to do with the rule of law and how it's processed. We have three legs that allow peaceful transitions of power throughout our history. We have, and I believe out of the three possibilities, we've only exercised two when it comes to the peaceful transition of power. They are the soapbox, people getting up there expressing their opinions about who should be governing when they are elected, and the ballot box where we go to vote. The one that has never been exercised before in any way to put a person in or out of power is the cartridge box. And the reason why is because the other two have always been open. This trial was a clear example of negating the first two and inching this country toward the likely outcome of the cartridge box deciding who will govern this country. This was something you should not celebrate at all, unless, of course, you like chaos, violence, and destruction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American people have a right to know if their president is a crook. I am not a crook. Sarge.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get down to the brass tacks of the facts of the case. All right. Let's forget about my opinion about it. Let's look at what Alvin Bragg said that Donald Trump did that was illegal. Not what Sarge says, what he put in front of the judge and the jury in this case. Let's look at what he did.
Yeah.
And let's see how it holds up against the law, how it holds up against precedent, and how it holds up against constitutional due process procedures. Let's stop with the rhetoric and all the other jive. Let's just look at the case itself.
Okay.
How about that?
All righty, Sarge. You got 36 counts. Okay, wait a minute. What did he fall on?
34
counts. Now, riddle me this here, Sarge. Riddle me this. Okay, before you get started, because we're going to give you the floor, man, for at least 10 minutes. Okay, because I'm enjoying this shit, Sarge. I ain't no sense in me lying to you. Okay.
Well, you can enjoy it and acknowledge what a travesty it is. You can do both if you have an ounce of intellectual integrity. You can enjoy it and say, well, I like the outcome, but I'm agreeing it was all a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
I can understand that.
Okay, riddle me this here, Sarge. Why was he not remanded to custody? Is because I've seen cases in Los Angeles County. Hold on, Sarge. I've seen cases in Los Angeles County where dude is hit with 3 of these charges, like I said, falsifying bank records, fraud, you know what I'm saying, attempt to deceive, bogus, prepackaged bullshit. And the judge would simply state, after they say, well, he's guilty, like this Negro here named Shabaka Sankor, and he's hereby remanded to Boucher Street, which is commonly referred to as the Los Angeles County Jail that Charles Manson has visited, Richard Ramirez has visited, O.J. Simpson has visited. Why was he not remanded to custody and the bail revoked?
Okay, let me explain to you why, and this has nothing to do with whether I like a president or not. I despise Joe Biden and Barack Obama with a fiber of my being, both of them. But if they were convicted, then let me finish. All right. I despise them with every fiber of my being. Nothing would please me more than to see them convicted of any of the innumerable crimes they have committed as President of the United States. But if they were to incarcerate them where they could be vulnerable to kidnapping, torture, and extortion, would be a national security issue, because unless you're going to lobotomize them, they retain in their memory, even that senile bastard Biden, things that could harm the United States. So it's a national security issue. They have to be confined in a place, if they are, where they can be totally secured for that reason alone.
Okay, and I know just a place, Sarge. I know just a place where they need to take
Alcatraz, maybe. We like to revive Alcatraz.
You're damn right, Alcatraz.
Okay.
On the rock. Okay. By themselves. The place ain't been open in over 60 years, so you got rats and eagles and seagulls shit all over the place. Okay, the ice might halfway.
All right.
But he will be secure.
Okay, Shabaka, let's close with this. Let's not spend a lot of time on this. You know perfectly well why they can't do it. First of all, the Secret Service is going to have some say in this, even if he was convicted in New York State trial. Because there's a conflict between federal obligations and this verdict. That president must be secured. And especially somebody like Donald Trump with an eidetic memory. What do you do? Give him a lobotomy so he doesn't know anything? So no, they're not going to be able to do that. So first of all, it's a national security issue. Secondarily to that, after that, it would be a matter of national prestige. Whether you like him or not, the man was a former president of the United States. That cannot be allowed to happen. You can't put him in jail box so somebody can shank him. Come off it now. Stop it. I expect you to act like a grown-up. What? Yes.
Sarge.
Yes.
Now, Sarge.
All right, I understand all that. I'm conceding all that from the beginning. I'm conceding that that's what you guys believe about him. Okay, so we don't need to discuss that. And like you said you're going to give me 10 minutes anyway.
All right, you got 8 minutes more to go, Sarge.
And I won't need 10 minutes. I won't need 10 minutes. I won't need it. But I got it. I won't need it. But here's why. Okay, now look. Here's what it is. Now Trump was facing a charge where he was charged under a state misdemeanor. Now the statute of limitations on this charge, making false bookkeeping entries, expired years ago, like 3 years ago. It expired.
Okay.
Now it was zapped back to life. It was zapped back to life into 3 dozen or so felonies on which he was convicted of 34 by claiming that bookkeeping violations, hiding payments to Stormy Daniels to ensure her keeping quiet about an affair with Trump, were committed to hide another crime. What is the second crime? You realize at this point, we still don't know exactly what it was because the judge gave him a roadmap to convict him. They said they didn't even have to come to a unanimous verdict on any of the 3 predicates that created the rationale for the second crime. They said that if 4 of them agreed on one of the 3 things that he might have been charged with, the second crime, the falsification of records, the secondary crime, which we still don't know what it was, and then the criminal intent thing. They said if 4 of them agreed on one of those 3, the other 4 agreed on the other second 3, and the third agreed on the third 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Voila, we've got a unanimous verdict. That's what the judge gave them in the jury instruction. That's what he did. Now we got a little case called Supreme Court United States versus Richardson, where in a criminal prosecution, the Supreme Court, not Sarge, the Supreme Court said that a jury verdict must be found to be unanimous on any of the predicates in a continuing criminal enterprise. But I know that doesn't matter because the point of this was not to follow the law or precedent. The point was to secure exactly the results we have now so that Democrats can call Donald John Trump a convicted felon and get some judge to derail his campaign by maybe putting him under house arrest or some other mechanism and therefore stealing the presidency again. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm not through yet because I still got my 10 minutes. Hold on. Now let me go on here.
Sir.
Now again, even these leftist legal analysts I looked at could not figure out what was being alleged in Bragg's indictments. Even after the verdict, we still don't know what the jury thought the second crime was based upon the nature of the judge's instructions to the jury. Now, originally, Blacc referenced 4 crimes. And again, but now he's claiming 3, and I just gave them to you. Tax violation, a federal estate, a state or federal campaign finance violation, and that's particularly bogus because Bragg's got no authority to force federal law. And the Justice Department declined any criminal charges when they investigated these same set of circumstances. The Federal Election Commission did not even find grounds for a civil fine. And Justice Marchant has ruled the jury don't have to agree on what that crime is. They can split into 3 groups of 4, and Marchant was still treated as a unanimous verdict, despite Richardson versus United States Supreme Court. So the case should have been dismissed for lack of evidence or recognizable crime. Now, the presumption of innocence is hard to discern a lot of times, you got to admit, but most jurors, especially some in Manhattan, being given this directed verdict that this judge gave to these jurors, would say, well, they got to be there for a reason. They wouldn't do nothing like that, even if he is a former president, for no reason, would they? Why would they do it? After all, that's right with Huey Newton, right? Huey Newton had to be guilty. He was charged. I mean, you think the U.S. attorney would bring charges against Huey Newton for no reason whatsoever? Now, let's go on here. So we're going to look at the 3-legged stool. It's the 3-legged stool what his case was. And if any one of the legs of the stool does not stand up, the stool falls over. The 3-legged stool means all 3 legs stand up. And again,
it is definitely
you got that first leg, the falsification of record. It's a dead misdemeanor. That was the foundation of this entire prosecution. Requires falsifying business records. It is not.
Okay,
it was never established that that's what Trump. No, I will come to that in a minute. I'm covering all of this. Okay. It's not clear there was such a falsification or Trump has any knowledge or role in it. Witnesses said that Trump would sign checks prepared by others, and the specific checks in this case were signed while Trump was the president. Some of these checks were called legal expenses. They were for Michael Cohen to pay off Stormy Daniels. Jeffrey McConney, the Trump Organization comptroller and senior vice president, testified under oath that it was not Trump who designated these payments as legal expenses. The corporation used a drop-down menu where any payments to lawyers, no matter what they were designated as legal expenses. Now, there is a reason why the payments were listed as legal expenses. The government cited the designation of payments to Cohen as part of his retainer, which included reimbursement for what he paid to Stormy Daniels in a non-disclosure agreement. But that designation, came about because Cohen had a set to with the Trump Organization chief financial officer, this guy named Alan Weisselberg. He's the one in jail that the feds put the pressure on, not the feds, but Alvin Bragg's boys put the squeeze on. The government could have called him, but they didn't. They didn't call him to bolster the case. We have to wonder why they didn't. I'm also wondering why the Trump team didn't call him on the case. But I think they did, and the judge denied the subpoena request. Now, the government has made a big deal over the fact that these retainer agreements are supposed to have written contracts. But that was Cohen's problem. He was disbarred as an attorney. Well, guess what? Malfeasance. Now, for a guy like Weisselberg, who's a businessman, monthly payments to an attorney could have seemed perfectly reasonable and logical. And once again, there was no evidence introduced in the court that Trump knew how these payments were denoted. He's busy with a lot of things. That's what he's got lawyers for. Now, look, the secondary crime, this is the next leg of the stool, the secondary crime. The government's got to show any falsification was done to further another crime. And that's where the feds kind of screwed up. Trump team, I think they failed to drive home that a non-disclosure agreement is common and ordinary in political, business, and entertainment circles. That's what that guy David Pecker admitted to with the National Court. It is common to catch and kill stories that could be disfavorable to a client or to anyone else. It's not unusual.
Sarge.
And wait a minute now, my 10 minutes ain't up. Kevin Keith Davidson described the non-disclosure agreement as routine. I'm talking about what happened in the trial. I'm not giving you my opinions. This is what happened in trial. What came out of trial? Keith Davidson, Daniel's attorney, said under oath, this is routine for the NDA. It wasn't hush money, but a contractual transaction. Here's what he said, quote, it wasn't a payoff, it wasn't hush money, it was consideration. And that's where David Pecker's statement comes in, where he says this is usual about killing stories like from Tiger Woods, Mike Wahlberg, Rahm Emanuel, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then Marchant, that no good, dirty, low-down, rotten bastard from hell, that judge from hell, allowed the jury to repeatedly hear of election violations, while at the same time he blocked a legal expert from explaining there was no federal election law violation. The payment of hush money was not a campaign contribution. And then the federal government not only declined to bring any criminal charges, but find no basis for even a civil fine. Now, had this guy named Bradley Smith, the former FEC chairman, would have explained that even if it was a campaign contribution, it would not have needed to be filed until after the election. So this would destroy the notion that this was an attempt to influence the election that would have run before any filing had to be made. So the defense should have hammered on the fact that no one testified it was a federal campaign violation. The judge wouldn't allow it. The judge wouldn't allow it. There's another reversible error. Now, wait, I'm not finished. There's more. This is so much in this shit that's funky. It's so much.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it's almost like you could just go through it. Talk about a mountain of reversible errors from the prosecution in violation of precedent and the law. and an attempt to stifle the defense, and also to give these jury instructions that demand the jury convict him. This thing, all of this thing stinks to hell. And then criminal intent. The government spent a lot of time proving facts that were not in dispute. There is no dispute it was an NDA. That's why they had Stormy Daniels talking about the sexual relation. Oh man, this thing stinks to high heaven. To high heaven.
Sarge. There's an old saying, Sarge. Okay. And I'm looking for my clipboard right now because I wrote down some questions. This is what happens when you get old. Okay. Now, Sarge.
Ask me. I'm ready for
there's
any
an
of
old
them.
saying. Okay, Sarge, there's an old saying. It takes 6 men to carry a guy to his grave. And it only takes 1 woman to put him there. Now,
you like gossip,
the woman that put him there was Stormy Daniels. Okay. Okay. Stormy Daniels put him there. Donald Duck is a trick. He's an idiot. And then he gets up there and states that this is a miscarriage of justice. And never in the history, Sarge, have I seen a person be convicted of 36 counts of tax fraud, maintaining lousy business records. You know what I'm saying? You know, his boys rolled over on him. Now, here's something else, Sarge, we forgot to mention. Okay, they finally served your boy Rudy Giuliani out there in the middle of the Arizona desert. Yeah,
for God's sake. Man. Yeah, I mean, I cannot believe you're all in for the government on this. I just can't believe it. I thought you had some integrity.
In for the government.
You are telling me that the government was in the form of Alvin Bragg. And let's face it, the government, the Department of Justice fingerprints were all over this. This guy, Colangelo, was a former Department of Justice staffer who left the Department of Justice to collude with Alvin Bragg's staff on this prosecution. He was sent there by the Biden administration for that purpose. Alvin Bragg went to the White House, signed in on the visitor's log, and had meetings with the Department of Justice.
Sarge.
And you're all in for this?
Sarge. And now here's something else. Okay, now here's something else that's even more redundant, Sarge. Okay, that I just
I notice you're not responding to any of this because you don't have a response.
Sarge. Okay. My response is
everything
this,
everything I just said has a factual basis. It's not an opinion. We know Colangelo was a former DOJ employee. He left the DOJ to step down and work on this case with Alvin Bragg. Now, that should tell you all you know right there. All you need to know.
Right. For murdering that man on the subway.
He's still under charge. He's not. He wasn't cleared or acquitted of those charges. They're still pending.
Sarge.
Because it's a clear case of self-defense. That's why.
Sarge.
Yes, it was. Look, let's not get sidetracked. You want me to examine the cases of Alvin Bragg and every other case that's thoroughly disreputable district attorney?
No, Sarge.
I could do that too, but this is the worst thing I have ever seen, the worst miscarriage of justice I have ever seen in a major case with millions of eyes on it. Now, wait a minute. See, that's what I keep saying. Every time y'all bring me a case, I ask you what happened.
Sarge,
you just give me something. What?
We're bringing you 36 cases.
Okay, now you want to change the subject, don't you? See what I mean? You don't have a response to anything I have said, so now you have to change the subject.
I got a response to everything you said. The son of a
bitch, guilty. A jury found him guilty. There's nothing more to be said, is there?
Sarge, you know,
I know. That is your whole argument, Shabaka. That is your whole argument. A jury found him guilty, so therefore there's nothing more to be said about the matter.
Sarge, what's gonna happen is that he's gonna take this bullshit ass case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and they're gonna overturn every last conviction.
Yes, they will. Now, but you know what? In the meantime, they get to derail him from taking the presidency. They could derail his campaign. They could put him under house arrest.
He's gonna run as a president under house arrest.
They need to remand his ass to the fucking jail is what they need
that was
to
my
do,
question,
Sarge.
Sarge.
Like they would do Jay. Just like they'll do Joe Jackson.
On his record.
Okay, let me explain something to you. There is a law that requires him to have Secret Service protection for the rest of his life. That law is still in effect. It doesn't matter whether he's convicted or not. You've got to consider the fact that the Secret Service is by law responsible for the man's security and his life, no matter whether he's convicted or not.
That's not my question, though. My question is he still going to be able to run for president with all of these felonies?
That's the point of this whole damn thing, to keep him from doing so.
No, Sarge, you can still run for president, and what's going to happen is,
but he can't campaign.
He got Uncle Tim Scott out there.
He won't be able to campaign if they put him under house arrest. That is his strong suit. That was the point of the bogus Constitution.
Sarge, he's going to have his House Negro, Uncle Tim Scott, with his buck dancing, stymied looking
okay, I can see now you talking about. Okay. All right, okay. Like I said, I can understand you being happy at the verdict. I would accept it knowing how you feel about Donald Trump. But if you're going to tell me this was in any way, shape, form, or fashion a legitimate exercise in jurisprudence, then I know you have no intellectual integrity.
Oh my God, stop it, Sarge. The MD has a question for you, Sarge. He said, how will Trump get security clearance as a felon?
He doesn't need, will you read the Constitution? The Constitution, in order to be president, the Constitution doesn't say you need to pass the same background check as any other federal employee. It sets out the requirements. You got to be 35 years of age or older at the time you take oath. You have to be 14 years a resident within one or more of the 50 states of the Union at some point in your life. At least 14 years. And three, you got to be a natural born citizen. That's it. You don't have to pass no background checks. You could be a convicted felon.
You could be a convicted felon and run for president, Sarge.
Yes, and be president. Yes.
Where does it say that, Sarge? In the Constitution, it says that.
Okay. Look, you don't go by what it doesn't say. You go by what it says. And it gives the three requirements for president in Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5.
That
it will tell you what the requirements for president are. The three requirements that I just said are the requirements. There are no others.
Sarge, I want to see in writing.
Sarge.
Where it says
you go read the Constitution.
Can run for president. The MD said he's wrong. Drop the link. I got you, MD. Just call in, MD, because they're not going to be able to hear you on
the let me explain something to you. The Supreme Law of the land is not some bureaucratic regulation that governs federal employees. The President of the United States is a constitutional elected officer. He's not granted the job as a civil servant by right of a board or something like that. The people decide through their representatives to give him enough electoral votes to take the office. If he, number one, gets enough electoral votes. Number two, he's 35 years of age or older at the time he takes the oath to office. Number three, he 14 years of his life have been resident in one or more of the states of the Union, and he's a natural born citizen. Those are the only four requirements under the Constitution to be president.
So you can be a felon and run for president. Yes or no, Sarge?
What did I just say? Yes. If the people decide they want a felon in office, they can put one there.
Has that ever happened, Sarge?
I want to make this perfectly clear. I am not a crook.
Well, that I hope the American people don't want to elect crooks when it's clear they are crooks. But when it's subject to a kangaroo court, Soviet Union style sham trial like this, I would expect them to overlook such a conviction.
That doesn't answer my question, though, Sarge. I said, where does it say in writing that a convicted felon can run for president? In writing.
It doesn't. It says what the requirements are.
In writing.
And what did I just say? The Constitution sets the requirement for president. It doesn't say anything about being a convicted felon. The 3 requirements are in the Constitution. That's it. End of story.
Sarge, calm down.
Okay, Sarge. Okay, don't blow a gasket, Sarge. We know you. You guys have been educated in public schools, clearly.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you a damn thing about the Constitution anymore.
Indoctrination centers, just like everybody else. We didn't have the luxury of going to school.
And what they should tell you to do is read the Constitution. Because the supreme law of the land is not a statute. The supreme law of the land is the Constitution of the United States. It says so in Article 6.
You're not educated enough on politics. You don't know how this works. You don't know how the Constitution works and all that. Don't do what the Democrats do.
I just read to you what it says.
Okay, MD's in
and then you tell me it doesn't say that.
Where you on, MD?
There's something else.
For you.
You're telling me
hold on, Sarge.
Whether or not you can be president, you got to go look at something else.
Sarge. It's the MD. Shout out to the MD 2020. Grand risings to you, brother. Thank you for calling in. What are your questions for Sarge?
Hey, peace to everybody. Peace to Shabaka and
yes, sir.
And everybody, you know what I'm saying? Real quick, I just wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't specifically say anything about a felon being able to run for president. It doesn't say that. But I asked the question specifically about security clearance. Now, this is from US.gov talking about presidential transitions. It's talking about background checks and security clearance. Says every person duly elected or hired in a federal job must undergo a background investigation in order to see the levels of security clearance in office. Now, I ask the question again. If Trump is a convicted felon at the time that we're hypothetically saying that he becomes president, how will he pass the background check in order to get security clearance?
I'm going to answer that question. It's very easy. The Supreme Court has already said so. And by the way, sir, and answer your what is written down, it was written down in Department of the Navy versus Egan, 1988. They said once that official is elected, that official has plenary, meaning utter, complete, total, absolute control over any classified information retained by the federal government, period. So once he's elected, he has access to any information, and no bureaucrat, no law can gainsay his access to them. That's from the Supreme Court. Read the Supreme Court's finding in Department of the Navy versus Egan, 1988.
Okay, now sorry.
All right.
Okay, the part. I'm sorry. Go ahead, MD.
No, I was just saying. Okay, I got to look up that case file and check that out. But I'm just going off of what the U.S. government said.
The U.S. government is talking about everyone who works for the president. All authority. Wait a minute. All executive branch authority derives from the president. All of it.
Okay. Not sorry.
Lars, Lady Che wanted me to relay this message to you. She said, that nigga, meaning the dump, as in human shit, and we want to make that perfectly clear, will not be the president of this here United States.
If he doesn't get the electoral votes and the Congress does not certify them, you are correct.
So
if he does, then he will be, and he is.
Oh my God. So, Sarge, you know, Colorado tried to take him off the ballot, right? These mugs are saying that they
on what grounds? On what grounds can you take him off the ballot?
Because he's a
convicted felon. Again,
just telling you,
again, here we go again with this 14th Amendment. What did the Supreme Court just rule? What did the Supreme Court just rule 9-0 with ballot access in the state of Colorado with the 14th Amendment? Do you guys pay attention to anything?
God damn it, Sarge, can I get a word out? They're saying that they can justify it because he's a convicted felon now.
If it was one felony, it'd be one thing.
They better go read the Constitution again, because they'll be making it up on the fly if they do.
Okay, Sarge. And I'm sure MD20 will agree with me.
And yeah,
one felony might be about this one here, MD20.
Sarge.
Okay.
34 is a no.
Sarge.
You guys are hung up on the sex. See, the framers of the Constitution, in their infinite wisdom, knew that anybody could be subject to a travesty of justice, like we just saw. They didn't want that to be a requirement for the president. They wanted the people to be able to make that decision on their own.
Then it's up to the people.
Yes, it's up to the people.
He didn't even win the popular vote.
They can decide. Look, the voters the electors can decide whether or not the conviction disqualifies him. The electors are free to decide that a conviction disqualifies him on their own, but there is no constitutional impediment.
Sarge, you don't want to sink in ship, Sarge. Yeah,
no,
man,
I'm telling you the facts.
On some water.
You guys, this whole thing is lawless. There is no constitutional basis for it, and that's the way they're operating. They are lawless.
Okay, so can you please get to the
anytime
for the show?
Okay, Sarge. Now, here's something else, and I want to know what your thought is on this here too, MD. Okay, Uncle Tim Scott, chief ass scratcher, Yassa boss, stymie looking type individual.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's still up here talking about that he is supporting the dump, and he states that America is not a racist country. Okay, you see, Sarge, this is why we created the hashtag called Resurrection of the Mental Dead. And this is why, Sarge, today's subject is that the brain dead refuse to be resurrected. Yeah. Now, let me repeat that. The brain dead refuse to be resurrected. And we will be discussing of how these House Negroes have pretty much sold the crack of their stinking asses to racist white supremacy. Mm-hmm. Blacc Mayors, Blacc Police Chiefs, and Blacc Mayors and what have you do not care about their own people. Okay,
well,
now
I'm not going to argue with you about that. I agree with you there.
Whoa. Okay, Sarge, look at Uncle Tom Bradley. Look at Willie Brown.
Look at Webb. Look at
Brandon Johnson.
Look at
Eric Adams. Okay, yeah, John Hancoon there, former mayor of Denver. Okay, and they are so more concerned about Massa that they are more concerned about Massa than their own well-being. Now, let's look at Wilson Good. Who ordered the bombing of a whole neighborhood to go after
40 years? No, 40?
Yeah, 1986. Okay. Yeah. See, now let's look at that.
85.
Yes, sir. 85. Okay, 39 years ago, Sarge. And once again, these black mayors, these black politicians, Barack Obama included, refuse to be resurrected. They are so brain dead, man, as that if the house caught on fire, the slave will put his own life on the line more so than the master would. They'll say, "What's the matter, boss? Our house on fire?" Now, you get a broad like Stormy Daniels. What she does, that's her business. You know what I'm saying? She is gagged all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Trump has an affair with her. And I mean, like even Trump said, Sarge, just like even Trump said in the 1990s, that if he was to run for president, that he would run as a Republican because these are the most stupidest, unintelligent people gone, and that they will go for anything. And the part that really kills me, Sarge, is when this dude got convicted, Sarge. He was not taken into custody, Sarge. Now, Sarge, you worked there for the great state of Illinois, up there in the great city of Chicago that has certain traditions. After all, it was the home of Al Capone for many, many years. Okay. And I do not understand why the judge does not say, okay, Donald Duck, you've been convicted, turn around. We're putting these bracelets on. We got to process you through the county jail or the federal jail. And he wasn't. This fool was allowed to walk out of the courthouse. Now, the part that really gets to me is when he stands up there in front of the world on the media saying that this was a crooked judge, that the whole trial was out of order. Oh, poor little old me. And this dude has got national security documents out there at his mansion in Mar-a-Lago, loosely stacked, where anybody could get to him. Then not to mention the fact, Sarge, that the taxpayers, okay, each time you go buy that wine bottle or that night train and silver satin and rot gut and what have you, like Malcolm said, each time you crack the seal on that is a government seal that you're cracking. At one time, even with a deck of cards, okay. And they still paying this trick of pension, okay. They're still paying taxpayer dollars for his security. And then they have the gall and the audacity to insult the intelligence of the people who paid this fool's salary. They're saying that this guy, is still innocent. Now, he's probably up there in Dump Tower, okay, making backroom deals about getting ready to grease the palms of these U.S. Supreme Court injustices who are going to overturn all of these convictions. You know it. I know it. Actually, Sarge, I did a live feed on Facebook. That's easy to see.
Sorry. Let me answer the question that you first posed. Why didn't they take Trump into custody immediately? Let me explain to you why. It's a very simple reason. I like it when you ask questions that have a bearing on things, and this one is very easy to explain. One, he's still under bail. Even after a conviction, he's under bail. The judge has the discretion as to when he will revoke bail, based upon whether or not he thinks the defendant is a flight risk. He hasn't been sentenced yet. Sentences in June 11th. The judge says himself, now, should I revoke this person's bail and take him into custody immediately, or should I decide to wait until I am sentenced? Let me explain to you why. Let me explain to you why that is false.
We have a caller. I think it's Sister Akshita. Greetings, Sister Akshita. Just press 1. And we'll put you live on the air, and you can duke it out with Sarge. And we got the MD joining us as well. Go ahead, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now let me explain to you why that is so. Because you just heard the other day, you had Eric Adams get up there with his Department of Corrections chief, explaining how they were coordinating with the Secret Service as to how such a thing will be handled. So they've got between now and June 11th to make any such preparations should it come to that. There's no way those Secret Service agents sitting in that courtroom were going to let those bailiffs put the cuffs up and take him away where they don't know where the president is. They would have had a fight for his body right there in the courtroom. And New York understands this. That's why you had that announcement yesterday or the day before yesterday about what they're going to do if there's a conviction. Even they understand it if you don't.
So
let me tell you what I understand. So
he
go
just
ahead,
admitted
MD.
to the two-tier justice system. Basically, that's what Sarge just did.
Yes, in this respect, there is, because there's a national security issue at stake. He's not like anybody else in that respect.
So the state of New York doesn't have the proper accommodations to make sure that everything is on the up and up with his imprisonment, is what you're saying.
Sir, did you not hear the New York public officials essentially admitting to this? Or saying, well, maybe we do have the proper facilities, but we are going to make proper arrangements for any incarceration of a president. Any president, not just Donald Trump.
Okay, but Sarge, there's an island that sits out there in the middle of Frisco Bay. I passed it many, many of times. Okay, it was the home of Al Capone, man, after he left Atlanta, after he had left Chicago. They can go out there today. They could do it today. They go over there to make accommodations, you know, to house the Trump over there for the next amount of years or whatever. Okay? And he'll be there all by himself. The only thing that'll be keeping him company is seagull shit, cold wind, and he has a nice view, Sarge, of two historical places. The Golden Gate Bridge and San Quentin.
Okay, see, Shabaka, you seem to think I'm making some kind of call because I like Donald Trump and I want to see him elected as president. You're trying to say that I'm making some kind of subjective interpretation of this matter, and I am not. I am telling you, any president who retains a memory of all the thousands of classified information he's seen over the course of his career is a national security threat to the United States if he is seized and harmed. Don't you understand that?
Okay, sorry.
That's why, look, so whatever, wait a minute, one more thing. So whatever accommodations they make, the Secret Service is going to have some say-so in how he is secured.
Sorry.
That's all. If it's at Alcatraz or anywhere, they're going to want to ensure that the institution itself cannot be seized so the president can be seized and tortured on public TV and made to reveal what it's a national security issue. For God's sake.
Sarge. That is right next to Silicon Game Valley that has artificial intelligence, and they can go up there and protect that trick. Donald Trump is a trick.
All right, fine.
See, Daniels.
Okay, fine. At least
Trump
now you are suggesting things. At least now you are suggesting things that can be done to ensure his security and his safety. Fine. I'll go along with that, Shabaka. I know you just want to be vindictive. I know you just want to be vindictive, but this is more than you and me and who we like or we don't like.
Sarge.
Let's
hear from Sister Akshita. Greetings, Sister Akshita. Thank you for joining us. Y'all had a great show last night. I was listening to the playback after I hopped off. What are your thoughts on this conversation that Sarge and Shabaka are having in MD?
Well, good morning. Greetings to everyone on the show, and a special hello to you there, Sarge. It's been a while since we've been on the show together, and I'm always hearing you're AWOL or MIA.
They do that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's AWOL. We thought he was gonna go AWOL. We're actually kind of proud of him. He called in today.
Oh, I'm ready for this fight. I am down for this fight. I'm loving to have this fight.
And there's corner. Ding, 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 ding. Let's get ready to rumble.
By the way, you notice I haven't even begun yet to discuss the political aspects of this conviction. But go ahead, sister. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, I just wanted to say I'm here to listen in on your opinions and your take on the whole thing. I'm here to support the show and all of that. So I'm just waking up, really. So I'm just here to really just listen in on what y'all got going on. And,
Akshita, this is a Sister Akshita, this is a blockbuster, Your Majesty. You know what I'm saying? Because Sarge is an avid Dunk supporter. Sarge has egg all over his face. And Sarge, I'm not going to torture you.
No, I don't. I accepted this outcome. I'm not a bit surprised. How many times I got to tell you? I told, and that's what bugs me about you, Shabaka. You know damn well I said over and over again, I expect a guilty verdict with a highly less likely outcome of a hung jury. I said there was no way. I repeatedly said that. There was no way he was going to be acquitted outright.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
so I don't have egg on my face. I've been preparing for this verdict.
Sarge.
Okay, Sarge. Now, I'm going to tell you who does have egg on his face, and that's yours truly, because I did a live feed yesterday, and it was uncensored. Yeah. And I was willing to bet my last $22 that I won over here in this casino the other night, okay, that he was going to beat the whole rap. I was amazed that he got convicted.
Who was that naive? Who in the hell was that naive to believe that?
You.
The fix was in from the beginning. The fix was in from the very beginning.
Oh, Lord, the fix was in.
Oh, yeah, Trump is all about the fixes. You're right about that. It blew
No,
up in his
I'm
face.
talking about Judge. But you know the way they selected Judge Marshawn? They did not do what they normally do. They put the judge's name in the drum. They rotate the drum, and they pick a name out of the drum. That's not what they did. He was specifically assigned
Just like
to
they
the
used
state.
to do the draft lottery.
A man whose daughter is a Democratic fundraiser, and it was literally profiting off of the conviction of Trump and has a stake in his conviction. And he didn't recuse himself despite that. You knew the fix was in from Jump Street.
That's no crime. The same way Clarence Thomas, a Supreme Court justice, can be paid to hold events for Republicans. There's no crime in that.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. To back up now. See, you're making you are making these fake allegations. We know what the federal code of ethics for a judge is, and there is no prohibition on a federal judge speaking in generalities about the Constitution and Supreme Court's role before any audience whatsoever. None whatsoever. They have done it throughout history. What they cannot do is talk specifics of cases that might come before their court. That's what they don't do, and Clarence Thomas has never, ever done that.
I didn't say that.
Okay,
but
Sarge.
he has spoke at Republican events and got paid very handsomely.
And there's no prohibition against it.
And there's no prohibition against the daughter of a judge being affiliated with a party.
Yes, there is. Read the New York Judicial Code of Ethics, and it's right there. You want me to read it to you? Do you want me to read it to you? Yeah, I will show it to you. I'll get it for you. It's just the New York Judicial Code of Ethics demands it. Read it.
Sarge, any statute that is so ambiguous that cannot be understood by the common man is not a statute.
Okay.
Clarence Thomas's wife have every right to storm the Capitol. She ain't involved with no proceedings in the Supreme Court. She can storm the Capitol.
His wife is an independent actor. His wife, he has no control over the actions of his wife. He can't dictate the actions of. Now I'll tell you what. If there is a conflict, that is a clear conflict between a judge's duties as a jurist and his personal stake in the outcome, then yes, Clarence Thomas should recuse himself. That remains to be seen.
Just like Alito should recuse himself.
Hold that thought. We got another caller, 203-688-6889. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Elia Shamor calling from Connecticut. Grand Rising. I
Grand
apologize
Rising.
for being late. I had to handle my
Hey,
grandson.
yeah. Okay, hey, greetings to you. We got Sister Shooter with us. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, here at Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, there is never a dull moment. Now, old Sarge is into his feelings is because his boy is a dump, as in human shit. And we want to make that perfectly clear, by the way. And, to 36 falls, man, you know what I'm saying? And Sarge is trying to say that this is a witch hunt. Sarge is saying that Donald Duck, is a fine, upstanding citizen. Okay. I'm loving this shit.
Shabaka, I don't have to believe that a person is even a fine, upstanding citizen to recognize judicial and prosecutorial malfeasance and misconduct. I have seen cases reversed against the worst goddamn criminals you can imagine because the government did not do its due diligence and give the defendant their Fifth Amendment due process rights. It's got nothing to do with whether you or I think. It's got nothing to do with whether you or I think that a person is a good guy or not. Did they receive proper due process? Will always be the question. And by the way, I'm looking right now. I can read. Hey, wait a minute. I can read right now from the New York Judicial Code of Ethics, which says why Judge Marchand should have removed himself. Would you like to hear it?
Oh, Lord. Go ahead.
No, but before you do that, Sarge, I want to say this. I'm going to tell you another judge who should be disbarred, two of them actually, and they should have their law degrees shredded as well, too. That's Janine Pirro and Judge Judy.
Ooh.
The day that I get hit with a case before Judge Judy, I will recuse her stinking ass. The same thing with that Jane Perino or whatever was that bimbo. Gutfield, your sorry ass is welcome to call in too.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I'll tell you what.
You can call in too.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Whenever you're ready to hear the New York courts rules of the chief administrative judge for the New York State Unified Court System, just let me know. And once you hear them, you will understand why Judge Marchand was obligated to recuse himself from this case, and he didn't.
I want to hear it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sarge.
Yeah, I want to hear that, Sarge. Go ahead, Sarge.
All right, first of all, they have terminology, section 100.00. Terminology. The following terms used in this part are defined as follows. And they go on down to explain court personnel and all this other stuff. And then they tell you what a member of the candidate's family is, a member of the judge's family. J, section J. Member of the judge's family denotes any relative of a judge by blood or marriage, or a person treated by a judge as a member of the judge's family who resides in the judge's household. And members of the judge's family, section I, denotes a spouse, child, grandchild, parent, grandparent, or other relative or person with whom the judge maintains a familial relationship. Now, we got that. Now that we've established what that is under the Code of Ethics, let's go down to section 100.3. Section 100.3. A judge shall perform the duties of judicial office impartially and diligently. They got judicial duties in general, adjudicative responsibilities, and here's what it says with regard to ex parte communications and all this other stuff. And let me see. Here we go. A disqualification. Okay. A judge shall disqualify himself or herself in a proceeding in which the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, including but not limited to instances where you got A, that doesn't apply, B, that doesn't apply, C, that doesn't apply. Here we go with C. Oh, the judge knows that he or she, individually or as a fiduciary, or the judge's spouse or minor child, has an economic interest in the subject matter of controversy or in a party to the proceeding, or has any other interest that could be substantially affected by the proceeding. This woman, his daughter, has raised hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars off of the outcome of the case and is advertised as such on her social media platforms.
You can't prove that. All you can prove.
Here we go again. This is what I mean. He said there was no such thing. I just read you something that says there is. It's not a law. It is an ethics violation. It's not legal.
So it's going to have to go before the ethics board.
Got nothing to do with Marchand's daughter. She wasn't involved no type of way monetarily directionally with this case.
So in other words, she'll be able to raise more money as a result of the conviction. He has an indirect stake in the conviction of Donald Trump. That is the reason for that ethical rule.
Don't they have a?
What you just said is the very definition of a witch hunt. You trying to do the very same thing.
I mean, now you just turn the truth on itself.
They doing the Trump.
Do you see what you just did? You turned the truth on itself.
No, I didn't. Because you can't.
I just read to you what the ethics are. I had just established that his daughter has a stake in the outcome of the trial. Marshawn is aware of this.
That's crazy.
So Judge's daughter has a stake.
Okay, all right, okay.
If
you don't see what is wrong with this, okay, if you don't see what is wrong with this, then I understand why the corruption runs so deep. That's all I got to say. We don't agree. I will accept that we don't agree. I will simply accept that we don't agree. We can move on now.
Sarge.
Oh my God, Sarge.
Face the fact that your boy took a fall. Face the fact that the
all right. Okay, but when people keep raising these points and say that this is that and this is that and there's no other contravening facts to the contrary, I say, oh yes, there is. Look at the New York State Code of Ethics for judicial officers, and you'll see that there is.
Is she a judicial officer?
Sarge.
The judge is, but it's his daughter.
What did I just say? His daughter has a stake in the outcome of the trial. She is his daughter.
Okay, so just because she's a daughter, she is benefiting from
Sarge.
A daughter has a stake in a guilty verdict.
Okay, Sarge.
You could prove him.
Donald Trump, man.
Sarge, you can't prove that.
Thing that they
yes, sir.
This is the same
thing that they tried to do.
No, this is the same thing that they tried to do with the whole James Comey situation with Andrew McCabe. They tried to say that his wife was some type of way directly involved because she was running a Democratic campaign. She ain't had nothing to do with none of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tactic.
Oh, yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did. Man, and they were able to establish that it did. Yeah, with Mr. McAuliffe. Yeah, with Mr. McAuliffe, the governor, and her appointing him to a position, you're damn right it could be inferred that it did.
So they try to use they do whataboutism, Shabaka. They try to use these situations.
No. I'm not doing whataboutism. I'm looking at the facts of this case and only this case. You are the one who is trying to do the whataboutism, not me. I'm looking at his daughter having a stake in Donald Trump's conviction, being able to profit immeasurably from it, and this judge saying he didn't think he had to recuse himself from the case. That's not whataboutism.
Sarge. You know what Donald
does Samuel Alito need to recuse himself from the immunity case?
What?
Does Sam Alito need to recuse himself from the immunity case?
What are the grounds that you maintain that he needs to? Give me your argument. Let me hear it.
Him and his wife, a direct family member, him and his wife flew the flag of solidarity with the January 6th rioters in front of his house.
They flew a flag that has historical antecedents long predating January 6th. In fact, they go back to 1773.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
So if you want to say that, what if he was surprised? Hey, those rioters on January 6th also flew the American flag too.
They flew every time. No, Sarge, you're not getting away with that. There was all kinds of flags flown during that insurrection.
So
there was American flags, there was Canadian
flags,
there were Chinese flags, there was Make America blue lies, flags. It was all kinds of flags.
All that.
Not only that, the flag flying it upside down. Do you?
Okay, so now you have just established. So wait a minute. So now you've just established that innumerable flags were flown at the riot, any one of which, according to you, would be disqualifying for a job. Just flying the flag, which would include, of course, the American flag, the United States flag.
Hold on. I'm muting for 1 second. Pipes and whatever they could get a hold of.
My question is, Sarge. Now, my question is, people, MD20, Sister Akshita, Elia, suppose, Sarge, just suppose, if black folks went there to that same location and flew the red, black, and green flag, what would have happened, Sarge? I'm all ears, Sarge. Tell me that. Tell me, what would have happened if black folks went there in solidarity, or as Sister Akshita saying, Brother Elia says, okay, I'm just using black as a common term, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm learning a lot, you know, from you guys as well, too, Elia. So if they went there and raised the RBG, what do you think would have happened, Sarge?
Let me explain this.
I can hear you, Sarge.
Protest, I'm answering your question. It's very easy to answer. I'm not stumped at all. At a protest, you are free to display any flag you want. I will leave it to others to draw any inferences they choose to make. I'm not the thought police. If you want to fly a flag at a demonstration, be my guest. Fly whatever you want to fly.
Well, he's specifically talking about one specific flag.
So Sam Alito doing that is not a sense of political expression. He just did it.
If you wish to accuse him of being so, then I'll tell you what. Here's what the ultimate remedy for such a thing is. The Congress can initiate impeachment hearings on it based on the flag he flew. How far do you think that's going to go?
They impeached this bastard twice. They fucking impeached him twice. No president, Sarge, including no Tricky Dick, has ever been impeached twice. They impeached him twice.
All you need to know. You ought to be down with Donald Trump. You ought to be down with Donald Trump because he's against the establishment. But now all of a sudden you become an establishment stooge.
Ooh.
Sarge. Now, Sarge, I'm going to slip that punch right there, Sarge. Okay. The U.S. Senate, as you know, Sarge, okay, the House of Representatives, and folks, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I was halfway asleep, man, when I was in Poli-Sci 101 at Cal State, L.A. Okay, the House of Representatives writes up the articles of impeachment to charge him with a crime in the same manner that the district attorney does what they would do, like they've done against Shabaka and various other associates that I have. And then the U.S. Senate functions as the jury, okay, to remove the president from office. But what they did twice, they fucking did it twice. Thank you, MB. Thank you, MB. Thank you, MB.
I had bad reception. I didn't hear your premise. Would you repeat it, please?
How convenient. How convenient. Oh, I had bad to say that. Sounding like Stormy Daniels. Shabaka, now you know there's been communication problems on the, it's not necessarily even your fault, it's blog talk. It happens from time to time. Would you mind repeating? Okay, Sarge, you know me through the bastard.
Since when have I ever been afraid to answer any premise you raise? Ever! Not once!
Sarge, you were afraid to answer had you ever shot a white person or arrested a white person because it was illegal for black cops to arrest or kill.
Well, wait a minute. Now you're really changing the subject. Okay, what are we talking about now?
No, you just
we're talking about right now, Sarge.
That you have never been.
What we're talking about right now, Sarge, is one word that explains it all. It's called hypocrisy.
I've never shot anyone in the United States. Okay, the only people I shot overseas as a soldier. I ain't shot nobody as a police officer of any race, ever, not once.
Okay, but what about your napkin holder, Sarge?
That's a different story. That's a different story. That's self-defense. Hey, I had Mr. 9mm on my hip. I didn't use that against him. Would you rather have the napkin holder or Mr. 9mm? I rest my case.
You never applied for a job with the Los Angeles Police Department, Sarge. You're the type of guy. Daryl Gates would have loved you, but the fact of the matter is, Sarge, is this.
Before California turned into a third world shithole, I was actually considering moving to California and becoming an LAPD officer. I was actually thinking about it in 1979.
Sarge, then you would have been able to work for Daryl Gates.
Well, I changed my mind in a hurry when I saw California's worse than Illinois.
Oh, you don't say.
Sarge, you will get no argument from me. Okay. But the fact of the matter is this, Sarge, is that your boy the dump, as in human shit. And I want to make that perfectly clear. Is a crook, is incompetent. He's probably used too much dope, you know, going around with porno tramps like Stormy Daniels and all that, you know what I'm saying? Drunk too much booze. And the dump has stated years ago, before he did The Apprentice, okay, is that if he was to run for president, he would run as a Republican because the Republicans are the most dumbest, ignorant, most vulnerable, and the most stupid-ass individuals to be with. And his election proved the point.
I just love it, Shabaka, when you give me all these reasons why you and others should not vote for Donald Trump. And I'll accept that as your opinion. And it's not anything I'm going to do to change it, no matter what facts I introduce to you. You're going to maintain that to be true. All right, so look, fine. That's fine. What you want to do, though, is put him in jail. That's where you and me draw a line that we cannot get across.
He deserves to go right straight to friggin' jail.
All right, well, that's about, again, I'm not going to argue with your rejection of him as a political candidate, because that's your choice to make. I am going to argue about whether or not the facts and the law are sufficient to put him in jail. On that, we simply do not agree. And based on what I know now, we will never agree. Never.
Can I
interject? Go ahead, y'all.
Convicted of 36 counts, man.
And Emmett Till's murderers were acquitted by a jury too. Did you agree with it?
Can I interject?
Yes, sir, please.
And will you answer my question? Hey, Shabaka, would you answer my question? Shabaka, would you answer my question? Emmett Till's murderers were acquitted by a duly constituted jury in Mississippi. Did you agree with that, boy?
Sarge, to quote the words of Sidney Poitier in The Heat of the Night, you have white time in jail and you have color time in jail, and the worst kind of time to do is color time in jail.
I guess you don't want to answer my question. I'll put that as a non-responsive answer. Non-responsive answer.
Sarge, I answered your question, okay, and the gentleman...
No, you didn't. You evaded it. You evaded it.
Sarge.
May I interject?
Yes, sir. Please do.
A jury decides something, so there's nothing more to be said about it.
Let the gentleman
render a verdict.
Okay, Sarge, let the gentleman speak. The gentleman has to interject, sir. By all means, please do.
Now, I'm going to interject on the entirety of the subject, but I'm going to try to answer the first question that I heard on here. The red, black, and green flag. So if so-called black people went up there with the flags and did that, they would be considered rebellious, belligerent, and all the above that would go with that. And black people, according to politics and law, would be abused lawfully within legalities. They would be abused for what it is, and everybody's hands would be tied because they went there as black people. So that's that question. To deal with the entire thing, Republican or Democrat, if we don't look at history and realize that Abraham Lincoln, who supposedly freed the slaves, was Republican, and right after slavery, so many of us became senators under the Republican banner in the South, not the North. They became senators and congressmen in the South right after slavery. That kind of removed the slave theory, and the slaves couldn't read because now they're becoming politicians. How did they become politicians so fast if we were in such a bad condition where we couldn't read and we couldn't understand what was going on? So now when we get into the 1920s and stuff, or the late 1800s into the 1920s, we realize that the Democratic Party was the one who came up with the Ku Klux Klan and was hanging us from trees. And it was the Democratic Party that killed Emmett Till and then released him. These are all Democrats doing these things. So how today do we stand up with the Democratic Party so strongly and have their back so strongly that we're dismissing Republicans? And our perception of Republican that, they're only out for white people, they're only out for rich people. We don't understand the platform that they really stand for. We are looking at what Hollywood built in front of us and what Hollywood the media told us about these parties, and then we're acting in our feelings and not off the laws. Now, Sarge just stated something about the judge should have recused himself. And if we listen to what Sarge read, a lot of us will sit back and say, hold up. What Sarge just read goes on in all of our cities. They've been using these tactics where judges should have been recusing themselves because of their corporate relationships and their family relationships to everybody who runs the corporation around us, from nonprofits to the jail, all the way to the point where today they are trading jails and prisons on the stock market. Private companies own prisons. How are we letting that slide by us in order to operate out here when if it's a corporation on the stock market, and then you got the judges are related to the people at the corporate offices who are turning around telling the police that they have they have to fill, they have an agenda, and you got a quota. You got to fill a quota of so many arrests. This is a family thing that they are working on us, but we're so busy with the little stuff, like trying to criminalize Trump. And I'm saying it, trying to criminalize Trump on stuff that they're all doing. They're all doing it, and they're all doing it to us. So instead of our politics being about arguing about whether Trump is right, how come we don't sit around and talk about us, and where we have a different political, economic agenda than the system itself? That's
hell yeah, you come to the right place.
Trump irrelevant.
Thank you, brother. You've been saying everything we've been saying for the past 5 years. With the Frontline Black News, the Revolutionary Agenda, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Why don't we do that as a people? Because the programming and the conditions that you just laid out. So thank you, Elia, for that. We're down to the last 30 minutes.
I appreciate that too, sir. Thank you very much. I'd just like to add one thing, though, that anybody who attacks police officers, vandalizes the Capitol, smashes in, I don't care what the political affiliation is, they are rioters and they deserve to be arrested and prosecuted. But here's the thing, though. We now know, based upon testimony from the FBI and other federal officials, there is a sizable contingent of undercover federal agents there on that riot. We still don't know to what extent, particularly the shady individual called Ray F., that those people had anything to do with revving up the riot. And the government is trying to keep it a secret from all of us.
Okay, now, Sarge, you just proved Huey Newton's point right there, Sarge, that any time
so where are you going with all of this, then? I don't understand you, man.
No, Sarge.
I'm giving you clear evidence of this, and you said because you hate Donald Trump, it's all okay.
He's saying you should have been a panther, but you was too much of a raccoon, so you became a piggy.
Okay, I don't get that one. But I'm just saying, I don't understand how it is that all of a sudden, because of your hatred for Donald Trump, that all these nefarious, shady activities by the United States government should all of a sudden now go unremarked. A jury found him guilty. There's nothing more to say. I don't know. You know I'm not going to accept that.
Okay, then Sarge, then you have to look at the judicial process itself. And according to that document they call the U.S. Constitution, and me personally, I think the majority of the people need to just wipe their ass with it. It states that any time that the government goes corrupt, okay, that not only do the people have a right to change the government, they have a friggin' duty to do it. And then this Cheeto orange dude, raccoon with white eyes, you know what I'm saying, man? He pushed all over the whole judicial concept. He defecated on the Bill of Rights. You know what I'm saying? This dude makes Tricky Dick look like a Boy Scout. And ladies and gentlemen, the American people have a right to know if their president is a crook. I am not a crook.
Shabaka, the Constitution doesn't say that. That's in the Declaration of Independence. And there is a method to completely change or alter the Constitution. Look at Article 5 in the Constitution. The process is laid out there to amend the Constitution or completely rewrite it. It's right there in Article 5 of the United States Constitution itself.
Okay, Sarge, you just proved my point. Yes, sir, MD. Go ahead, sir.
At the end of the day, Shabaka, and I find it quite shameful that Sarge equated the false acquittal of the people that killed Emmett Till to this case. Shameful. Reason being
very much so.
We know that a law was committed. Now, you may not agree with the intensity of the charges dealing with misdemeanor versus felony, but we know they got those felonies under the Federal Election Campaign Act. That's fine. And, I agree with you, Shabaka. They will overrule it or overturn it based on the Supreme Court or whoever it may be, the appellate court, whoever. They'll overturn it based on the lack of circumstantial evidence saying what's linking it with FICA. I get it. At the end of the day, you can't deny that a crime was committed based on the fact that he falsified business records. That's just what it is.
Right.
He did it.
Exactly.
The reason that the defense did not call Weisselberg on the stand because that would have gave it away. Then you got, like you said, Janine Pirro, dumbass, on Fox News talking about why didn't the prosecution call Weisselberg. That ain't up for the prosecution to do. That's up for the defense to do. That's a dumb argument. They know if they would have did it, they would have got called out and their ass would have been in the wind. At the end of the day, Trump committed a crime. Point blank, I don't care how you look at it, what angle you look at it at, he committed a crime. Whether it's misdemeanor or felony, that's up for argument. At the end of the day, he committed a crime. He's a criminal.
Yeah, he's a criminal.
Again, I am looking at the method by which they arrived at this thing. This was a Frankenstein monster that they took decomposes pieces of legal theory, stitched them together, hit them with a lightning bolt, and brought it back to life. It was an expired statute of limitations to use a federal law over which Alvin Bragg has no jurisdiction whatsoever. The whole thing stinks like a decomposing corpse. That's why it's going to be overturned when it goes to appeal, not because he committed a crime.
It stinks like your blood is stinking up the whole time.
Hell, if he committed the crime or not, that don't matter. What matters is the means in which they prosecuted.
It literally does. Under due process, it does. It literally does matter. That's why they have the Fifth Amendment and due process. It literally matters.
So you're saying he didn't receive the proper due process?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly.
And how are you going to...
So, in other words, Sarge, you telling me that this Cheeto cheese, toupee wearing, roadmap face looking trick, okay, is innocent, is what you're telling me.
He's not guilty of what they charge him with. I don't know how innocent he is. I don't live with him 24 hours a day. I'm saying he's not guilty of what he was charged with and convicted of. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely, irrefutably.
So appeals come in.
Okay, sorry.
Overturn is what you're saying. All 34 counts in New York.
I remember. Look, here's the problem. The problem is that under most Supreme Court proceedings, he's got to go through the New York State appellate processes completely before the Supreme Court will hear the case. Now, they did grant an exception to that in Bush versus Gore. I doubt if they will want to do it again, but they could if they choose to do so. But normally, you've got to go through the appellate process, and that was the whole point of this trial, because they knew it would take maybe years to do that. And in the meantime, they can derail his campaign. They can put him off track. They can put him under house arrest and not allow him to use his strong suit, which is campaigning. They don't want him to campaign because that is his strongest suit. He is a superb campaigner. They can get him under lock and key and control it. This is the worst case of election interference I've ever seen in the history of the United States. Period.
Hitler was a strong campaigner too. They loved him.
Yeah, he was. Go ahead, you brought that up there.
I see. I'm so glad somebody finally brought up Hitler. Anything is justified if you're going to get Hitler, right? So that's why you have to characterize him as such. Everybody sees through this.
On our side as a people, Hitler looked out for us just as what Putin is looking out for us by opening up their bank over their vault. Hitler looked out for us. He said we are the original people, the original Israelites and Jews. That's what Hitler said. So we look at
that part.
So there's that.
Wait a minute, guys. I got a copy of Mein Kampf. I have read
Mein Kampf.
All 890 pages.
Yeah,
I've read Mein Kampf. I know what Hitler said. He never said anything like that in Mein Kampf.
That's a lie, Sarge.
Again, I got Mein Kampf. I read it. I read what the man said because I got tired of people telling me he said this, he didn't say that. You know, I'm a historian. I'm strictly a historian of the Third Reich and World War II. So I decided, let me read this thing for myself instead of people telling me what it says. I'll just read his own words for myself. So I know he didn't say that.
What did he say?
He made very specific statements. He didn't believe all that Heinrich Himmler stuff. He thought, wait a minute. He thought Heinrich Himmler was a crackpot with his theories of going to Tibet and finding the original areas. He didn't swallow that. What he did believe, what he did believe, well, I don't want to get an explanation about Adolf Hitler. If you want to have that show, let me know, because I'll be there.
We can arrange
I'm an expert. I am an expert on the Third Reich and World War II. So if you ever want to have that show, let me know. I will be there front and center.
Co-host this,
Hey,
Sarge.
what did Hitler do to the black people under the occupation in Germany? What did he do to the black people?
Exterminate them.
Let me tell you what he did. Let me tell you, he didn't do anything at that. Wait a minute. Okay, you asked me a question. Let me answer now. He did not exterminate black people. He said under the policies that were passed by the Nuremberg laws in 1935. They had a rally in Nuremberg. They passed a series of laws called the Nuremberg laws. Mixed race Germans, black, they had a category. They called Michelinga. The category. I'm trying to answer the question. Would you let me answer it? Would you let me answer the question? They called that a category. In the Nuremberg laws called Michelinga. And they were forced sterilization was imposed upon them. They were sterilized.
Yes, that's correct.
So
let me finish.
Go ahead.
All right, look, guys. If you want to have the show on Adolf Hitler, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. Shabaka,
I don't understand how you're not equating sterilization to extermination.
World War II history myself.
And I will go into detail of all of that, the mixed race blacks. A few of them, by the way, wait a minute. There were 100 or so mixed race blacks who were drafted into the German army and discharged by 1943. I got a picture of one of them serving on the Western Front with the star helm on his head and an MP40 machine pistol hanging around his chest.
Hey, Shabaka, it's nothing new under the sun.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing new under the sun.
You're right.
We got all these black people that's being dumbfounded under the mysticism of this populist ideology that Trump got, right? Saying we got Trump and all this, that.
Those disgusting.
Those black people that Sarge is talking about that were in Germany at that time were doing the same shit. They were saying, the Jews ain't good. They were doing the same shit. Nothing new under the sun. You got these idiots that's following under this autocrat, Donald Trump, thinking that somehow they're gonna be part of this ideological renaissance. They're not.
Exactly. I don't have any grandiose ideas about much because I'm basically a simple man. Basically, all I want is the government off my back. I want them not to try to take my gun. I want them to secure the freaking border. I want to get the inflation under control. And I want to have the United States restored to a preeminent position of independence, particularly in energy and medicine. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot to do for a country as great as this one. And I don't care about the rest of it. Those are my immediate goals, and I'll be happy with that.
Everything that you just said, it sounds like Biden you got. Because he done did pretty much.
Exactly.
He's against every single thing I just said.
Okay, don't blow a gasket.
Dang it,
Are you serious? You're talking about empirical evidence. Wait a minute. In other words, I'm supposed to ignore all of this empirical evidence in my pocketbook?
I'm just going off what you just said. You said energy efficiency and independence.
No, it's not what I said. Independence is what I said.
There has been the most oil production independent in this nation under Joe Biden. Ever in the history of America.
That's not due to his policies.
Inflation right now is at 3%. You're not mad at inflation.
No. The rate of inflation is going down 3%. It is still up from. It was less than 2% when Donald Trump left office. It got to a high of over 9% under Joe Biden. The rate is going down at that rate. That is not the current inflation rate.
When it was 9%, what was going on at that time, Sarge? Let's just be honest. What was happening?
Government spending. The greatest single contributor to inflation is government spending. Government spending was going on. Yes, some of it was due to the COVID policies passed under Donald Trump. But much more of it was due to Joe Biden's coming economic policies that the market responded to.
That's not true.
It is true. And I can back it up with empirical and statistical evidence.
You had the supply chain break, plus we were coming out of COVID, plus we had the less production of oil overseas. That caused the inflation.
We were completely energy. We were a net exporter. We were a net exporter of oil under Donald Trump.
If Trump would have won his second term, the same thing would have happened. The same exact thing.
We were a net exporter. We were essentially, for all practical purposes, energy independent.
That's not true.
It is true. Look at how much oil we exported versus we imported. The net is a surplus of export.
So why is Trump drilling the most oil out of any president ever in the history of America?
Wait, Biden is not doing that. He's got nothing to do with it. He didn't have anything. If he had his way, he'd force us an electrical vehicle. If he had his way. What do you think the mandate is for? By 2030. Donald Trump didn't say nothing about no mandate.
The most oil produced out of any president in the history of America. You can't get around.
Let me say it again. Biden could not stop it. Had he had his way, he would have. He wasn't able to do what his advisors wanted him to do.
So he's saying that this happening because of Trump. That's fine.
Yes,
Again,
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's precisely what I'm saying. And again, I don't care what it sounds like. I have the facts to muster in favor of my argument. I give you the statistics.
Okay.
Yeah, 36 felony convictions in one trial.
Okay, I got to change the subject again. Look, now, I'll tell you right now, Shabaka, there's no way this is going to withstand scrutiny under appeal. I don't even think, and I'm not saying this absolutely, so don't hold me to it like you'll distort what I, at the beginning of the show, you said, oh, Sarge got aired of it. I told you this conviction was going to come. I told you it was inevitable. I think it is likely the New York State appellate system will reverse this verdict. But even if they don't, it will certainly be reversed when it gets to the Supreme Court.
Okay, because they're sycophants. They're crooks, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at Clarence Thomas.
There you go. Okay. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we show to you that are clear, reversible matters on appeal based on precedent and the law. Got nothing to do with Donald Trump per se. It's got to do with what courts have done under similar circumstances when they reverse a trial, often with people who are nobody.
Okay, Sarge. Okay, now, Sarge. Now, you are aware of the fact that Trump did say, now, I want your opinion on this, and everybody, you know, of African descent, you know, please take note of this. You know, Trump was talking about giving police officers unqualified immunity, total immunity, when they murder unarmed so-called black people. You're aware of that, right, sir?
No, he never said that. That's not true. You're making that up. That's not true. I know what he said. He didn't say what you said. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. Because if you murder somebody, you don't have immunity. You get prosecuted. Don't you understand that when you use these terms? They're loaded terms.
Okay,
what you meant to say, I think, was when they kill somebody.
You're not going to get away with that.
You're going to tell me, no, you don't have qualified immunity for murder.
They get it all the time.
Well, they gave it to Johannes Merciley, who murdered Oscar Grant.
That's your opinion.
No, that is a fact. When that son of a bitch murdered that man and had him bound at the Fruitvale BART station, Sarge, is because I went right by the damn place. I went through the Fruitvale BART station.
Why did he go to jail? He went to jail.
I'm going to answer the question, Sarge.
Not of murder in the first degree, you did, Sarge.
Here we go again.
Sarge, not of murder in the first degree.
Was
God, not of murder in the first degree.
It was manslaughter. It was negligent homicide.
It was Sarge. It was murder in the first degree. He had him bound. He had him handcuffed. He shot the young man. And then the no good dirty bastard is going to get up there and say, oh, I thought I was reaching for my tail. Now, listen, now, let's look at Yadis that murdered Mr. Castillo.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
that
look
was
at
my
Fernando
homeboy's
Castillo,
cousin, by the way.
who was murdered. Where Yanez discharged 5mm rounds into that man, and how his woman, Diamond Reynolds, stood there and recorded that live, okay, is beyond me. The strength that she had. And then when she went to court, and when she came out of the courthouse there in Minnesota, Sarge, you know it and I know it, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, where she broke down inside and says, we are being assassinated. Where are you black men at?
All right, stop it, Shabaka. You know you're not, Shabaka, you know you ain't getting this past me. Every one of these cases you mentioned, I went into chapter and verse and looked at all the evidence and all the testimony and the videos from the squad car and everything else. You're not going to be able to get away with that with me. You should know better.
No,
you said many things that are simply not substantiated by the evidence.
Okay, no, I got some evidence. Okay, one is my common sense and what I saw. Yeah, there you go. Now I know why we're in trouble. Because of a driving infraction, rather if it was a tag or rather if it was a turn light that didn't work. He approached the vehicle. Mr. Castile says, officer, I am in possession of my firearm. I do have my CCW permit as per state law. Okay. He was in an attempt to produce said document, and this cop, Yanez, put 5 bullets in this man in front of his wife, and the child was in the back seat. Okay, so they went on and they let Yanez walk. Sarge, what that is, sir, is state-sanctioned homicide. And the great city of Los Angeles, where Hollywood is.
Okay.
They raised big money.
Okay. And then, not to mention of how Ezell Ford was murdered by the Los Angeles Police Department, where he was.
We lost.
Yeah, we're about to go on overtime, folks. Please, don't nobody hang up.
We're in our last 8 minutes.
Okay.
And please, don't nobody hang up. Okay, hold on, Sarge. And then they go on and, okay, and thank you for calling in, MD. CMD had dropped. Okay, thank you for calling in, MD.
Call back in.
Okay.
He's still got about 8 minutes to call back in once we go on the overtime.
Yeah, he's got 8 minutes to call back in. Okay, but Sarge, but the point of the matter was that what happened with Oscar Grant, what happened with Ezell Ford in Los Angeles, and your current vice president was the Attorney General of California at the time, did do nothing about it. Goes to show, Sarge, is that this country.
Also, the Attorney General, I stand corrected. In 2009, she was the Attorney General of California.
Yeah, that was 2009 on New Year's Day, where Oscar Grant was murdered at the Fruitvale BART station. I've walked through that BART station.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And he was murdered by the Bay Area Rapid Transit Police Department. Okay. Then, remember little Mia, who had her throat cut at the MacArthur BART station, Brother Trey, where I did the live feed from there?
And that's
right. Okay. Yeah. And I asked 2 of those BART police officers, I says, oh, you caught the guy that murdered her and he surrendered, right? I says, why didn't y'all shoot him like y'all did Oscar Grant?
Yeah.
They didn't say nothing. So this goes to show, folks, is that there is a hidden agenda to exterminate Black men.
Well, I'm
understand? This is why you got the Joshua syndrome. This is why you got the Joshua syndrome. This is why you got these confused ass individuals shoving ketchup up their asses, talking about their menstruating. Yeah. See, the black male is an endangered species in the United States of America. Now, let's look at the dumb as in human shit. And I want to make this perfectly clear. Well, he was talking about the death penalty, man, for the Central Park 5 to find out that these men were innocent, like Carolyn Bryant. Okay.
Yeah.
He whistled at me.
Yeah, what about that?
What is this obsession? Yeah, what about that, Sarge? What is this obsession that white women have to see Black men tortured? What is up with that? Or so-called Black men?
I'm not going to indulge any pornographic fantasies about white women and Black men. I mean, that just...
Oh, my
I'm not gonna,
God.
I'm just not going to do it. If you want to do it, be my guest. I'm not indulging that sort of thing. I have no way of answering questions. I have no way of examining the mental state of any of the people you're speaking of, and I don't think I am not about to. Okay, but when you're talking about things like Philandro Castillo and the Fruitvale Station killer with Officer Mercel, I believe that was his name.
Johannes Mercel.
Yeah, he was born in Germany. Okay. There are facts in that case that were established at trial. And the facts in the case in Fruitvale did qualify as negligent homicide because the officer testified he was reaching for his taser and he picked his firearm instead. Now, given the fact that they were in a struggle, that was a credible claim, whether in fact it was true or not.
In a struggle.
Sarge.
What struggle?
Sarge.
You couldn't say beyond a reasonable doubt
What
that
struggle?
Sarge. Well, see, you still want to
Damn it,
believe it.
Sarge. What struggle was there? They had him bound.
They were trying to handcuff him. We got a video of it. He was resisting being handcuffed.
We have video. There's a whole documentary about it called Fruitville Station. Are you serious?
Yeah, and I've seen it too. I've seen it.
Yeah. But Sarge, it ain't nothing like going there to the actual Fruitville Station and seeing it and listening to the wind and feeling that vibe from there. I did a YouTube video on it years ago.
You sure did, Shabaka.
Okay. Okay, and then also too, Sarge, you can still see, man, the hole in the concrete there, man, where the round was discharged. Marcelli's ass should have been special circumstance, and he should have been facing the fucking death penalty. Okay, but however, they put a moratorium on the death penalty after the execution of Tookie Williams. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, Sarge. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, Sarge, with you, Sarge, being a black man in America, Sarge, this could happen to you. I don't wish it on you. It could happen to me. It could happen to Brother Che. It could happen to Brother
Look, man, I understand that they arrested me for defending myself, for Christ's sake. So I know it can happen.
Okay, Sarge.
You got arrested,
Sarge.
Sarge?
You went on it for Sarge. Okay, Sarge. What you did was when they took you down there to the station and took the handcuffs off you and you flashed your 10, okay.
Where was you at, Sarge?
Okay, in Cook County. Yeah, of all places in Cook County, Sarge. Okay,
It
man.
didn't happen in Cook County. It didn't happen. It happened when I was retired and in the state of Georgia. It didn't happen in Illinois.
Good old state of Georgia.
In the great state of Georgia.
In Kent country.
That's right.
Down there with the old great governor of Lester Maddox was.
Yeah.
It wasn't only Lester Maddox that granted Muhammad Ali a boxing license, okay, when he beat the living dog shit out of Jerry Quarry in 1970.
By the way, when I was arrested, they did a search incident to arrest, as you're allowed to do when you take someone into custody. You're allowed to search the person incident to the arrest. And they found my retired officer badge. They knew I was a police officer. I didn't tell them until they got the badge out.
And then And then did they immediately take the cut off?
Convenient.
Good day, Mr. Sarge, or whatever.
I didn't tell them I was no police officer. They took my gun. I had a 9mm pistol on me. And by the way, let me explain it. All right. Okay. They took my pistol off of me. They saw I had 2 concealed permits, one under the National Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act. That was one permit I had, and I had one from the state of Georgia. So I had 2. But me having a pistol, that not do. I didn't shoot
90
the guy.
seconds.
I with a napkin over.
After going to overtime.
He's lucky I didn't shoot him.
Now, Sarge.
He's lucky I didn't shoot him.
Sarge. Now, under the full... Okay, yeah, we're going in overtime, folks. Please don't nobody hang up, and we're going to start our closings. But Sarge, they gave you a courtesy. You flashed your 10. Okay.
No,
now, Sarge,
they arrested me and charged me. I got arrested
60
and was charged
seconds.
with aggravated battery, a felony.
Oh.
Okay, Sarge.
Let me tell you something. Wait a minute. It wasn't Fulton County. Let me tell you what happened. I'm arrested for this. I had to pay something like $6,000 in pretrial motions to get the charges dismissed. My lawyer went and took depositions from all kind of witnesses and everything else in the restaurant that indicated I was clearly invoking my right of self-defense. They submitted it all in pretrial motions, and the judge dismissed all of the charges. So that was it.
Okay, now let me ask you this here, Sarge. Now, Sarge, let's look at a case called California versus Newton. Okay, where a young man,
10
who
seconds.
always kept a copy of the law books with him in the great state of California. They tried to put this man in a gas chamber. He went through 3 trials and it ended in a mistrial. Okay, all 3 times. Right over there across the street. Let me see, from the Alameda County Law Library. And the next time I go through Panthertown, I am going to pull up your vice president's record of when she was an assistant district attorney there early in her career.
Yeah, you would vote for her too, right? Wouldn't you? And you vote for her ass.
I didn't vote for her.
No, Sarge.
I didn't vote for her.
No, Sarge. I didn't vote for her when she ran for attorney general. I didn't. Well, she was appointed to senator by Gruesome Newsom when what's her name checked out. Barbara Boxer, I believe.
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
So we got the idiot vice president. Idiot. She was an idiot. A moron.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you something too, Sarge. Okay, no disrespect to any of the woman here. But if Kamala Harris, Sarge, went up there to you and parted the Red Sea, you'd be diving in it, man. You know it, I know it, and the American people know it. Right along with the dump, okay? Because she looks a hell of a lot better than Stormy Daniels, okay? But however, folks, it is what it is. This is Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Che. We're always having dynamic conversation here, ladies and gentlemen, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, it is what it is. And being of African descent,
this has been one of our shows.
We got who?
I said, and this has been one of our most dynamic shows. So
absolutely. And we're going to ask everybody for their closing comments, is because we would like to complete this episode as opposed to a blog talk pulling the plug on us. And this is episode 42 of season 8. And definitely, ladies and gentlemen, check us out tomorrow for a special edition of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced.
No.
And I got it wrote down somewhere.
Yeah. Then
that too.
On Black News.
Yeah, and then too, Brother Che, you did relate to me, man, you know, that you had something to do. So retype up the episode, man, and put it down there for whatever convenient for you.
Yeah, it's going to be an hour or two before that.
And Sarge, you're welcome to call in, Sarge. Bring in Ron Reck, bring in Joe Gibson, you know what I'm saying? And let's get ready to rumble, because that is the open mic, and I'm looking for it to be one of our best shows or one of our best comedies, because there is never a dull moment here. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Closing comments, I did mine.
All right, go ahead, Sarge. Give your closing comment.
All right, let me do it real quick. You know me, I'm very succinct. Let me get to it.
Yeah, you're very
long-winded. As a result of this Soviet-style fascist little farce that came out in New York yesterday, raised $40 million and crashed his site. The people see this for what it is. The response is going to be overwhelmingly against this sham of a fascist exercise in election interference and corruption. It will not stand. We are going to run this thing back. That's all I got to tell you with that. And what was this event you just referred to? Because again, I had bad reception. I didn't hear it. I want to make sure I don't miss it. I want to be there to correct any misapprehensions or misstatements of fact and law that you care to try to invoke. So when is this going to happen again?
Tomorrow, June the 1st.
At what time?
July 11th.
On a July 11th, your boy is getting sentenced.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry. I expect them to put him. I think they're probably going to put him under house arrest because they want to. The point of this exercise was not even really put him in jail. It was a derailed campaign.
House arrest my ass. Throw that bastard man in a 4x8 cell where he's got 2 bunks and he's got to sleep by the fucking toilet. Throw his ass in there.
Yeah.
National security, you just don't seem to want to go. The man was a president of the United States. He knows too much. He knows too much. They can't expose the country to that kind of thing. They just can't.
Sarge, the only thing that Donald Duck knows, man, is how to be a crook. Okay, to quote his predecessor. Ladies and gentlemen,
you can say what you
the
want.
American people
That
have a
man's
right
got
to
an
know that
eidetic
the
memory.
president is a crook. I am not a crook.
He's got an eidetic memory. He retains it all. He don't need no documents. He probably can memorize all of the important stuff.
Sarge, let me tell you something, man. You and I are both over the age of 60, right? And there's no fool like an old fool. Not saying that you're a fool, Sarge. Actually, you're quite intelligent, highly intelligent, very, very well read. Because with you, Sarge, man, it's like Ali and Frazier, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got books all up over here, Sarge. I got some knowledge for you. You know what I'm saying? From the one and only Mr. Lerone Bennett Jr. May he rest in power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we want to thank all our people, you know, who's been supporting this
Right, so
platform for the last 8 years. We most definitely give special thanks to Sister Akshita of the great work she's doing. Definitely we appreciate El Most definitely we appreciate MD20. And of course, Sarge, we appreciate you too. Because anytime we have you on, Sarge, there's never a dull moment. And that is my closing statement.
Unknown caller,
please,
thank you very much. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling from. Is this Chef Rob? Chef Rob, you just been listening the whole time. That's what's up.
Yeah. Let it come on board, man. Let the chef come on board, Jack. Yeah, let it come on in. Anytime, baby, anytime.
All right, Chef Rob, what's your closing statement?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, well, I thought.
Okay, Chef Rob.
Unknown caller.
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
Unknown caller, going once, going twice. All right, yeah.
Okay, we appreciate him listening. Okay, Sister Akshita, ma'am, your closing comments, ma'am.
Greetings all and high heaven to you. I'm here. This is Akshita Veda, also El Christina, my aunt, Supreme Justice, in a new wave of thinking, in one of the Trinity that has set up the empire of Nubia, in which we are bringing a new wave of thinking. And I'm here listening to the conversation taking place, and it is very clear that everyone is so very passionate about how they feel and what they think about what is going on in the United States of America, and how it's clear that the opinions are real, the feelings are real, but when it comes to the decision-making process of the people of the United States, we really have no say-so. Our vote really doesn't count and it doesn't matter. So with all this energy that's being taken to converse about and debate about issues that affect us directly, because we as a people choose to talk about what they're doing rather than what we are going to do to stand up to the corruption in a way that's going to make waves of change. So that's what I'm all about. I hear you. Everything is valid and everything is real. But from the standpoint in which I'm standing, it's on the matter of change and how we as a people come together and create that solution and be that solution rather than talk about what they got going on, because they're going to do whatever they want to do with your permission or without it.
Facts.
Well, those are facts. Yeah.
So I just say that I'm always here for the conversation, and also because it also lets me see where we are, and you know, you're speaking for yourselves, but you're also speaking from a lot of different perspectives that many other people can also understand and come into the conversation about it as well, because there's debate about these subjects going on across the board from different perspectives. And this is the perspective of Shabaka's Black Experience and Frontline News with the Chase. So respectfully, I'm here, and I get a kick out of the conversation, and I be over here laughing because y'all be funny for real. Yeah. Because I know it's in good fun. You know what I'm saying? And also with a place where it's like a verbal boxing ring. Yeah. And reference. You know what I'm saying? It's like a verbal boxing ring. And so if you like to see people punch on each other inside of a ring, then this is the same type of edutainment that is equivalent to verbal boxing. So I'm always here for it, and I appreciate
tell
everybody coming in.
Find you on YouTube, Sister We the People.
Thank you.
Brother L, y'all have a show on We the People YouTube channel. Make sure you sub up, like and subscribe.
A new wave of thinking. We can be found on YouTube with We the People at We the People 4343, and we come on Thursday evenings, East Coast time is 10 o'clock, and from 10 o'clock to 6 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. So yeah, I think is Elia still on?
Yeah, Elia still with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah, I yield the floor. Thank you for having me and allowing me to speak on your platform.
Oh, you're always welcome.
Okay, thank you, Sister Akshita, for joining us. Okay, Elia, the floor is all yours, sir.
Yes, thank you for having us, and thank you for showing up last night. I want to yield the floor because my aunt has spoken. And in our real culture, when our women speak, we men carry out their dictates for what needs to be done to secure our communities. So I just want to add, though, until we realize we are not Black people, that we have our own politics and agendas that we must meet, a lot of this conversation that we're having only supports the other side that's abusing us. So it's like every day over 350 people get up and go to work against us. When do we sit down as a people and begin to work on ourselves and employ ourselves within our own agendas to alleviate the abuse from the world on our families? Whether we agree or disagree, we have to find a point where we completely agree. Because at the top of all this politics, the Republican and Democrat, they agree on one thing. These people with this dark-skinned nappy hair, they will never be overrun. And that's what they agree to. So when do you and I agree that we need to rise without thinking about being over them? We need to rise as a people. And I'm going to say this, we cannot do it lawfully as Blacks and African Americans, because those are fake people made up by their political, racial, white supremacist agenda. Peace and love, and thank you.
All right,
Brother L, it's always a pleasure.
You're always welcome on.
Okay, and then
that was amazing.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask the chef, for his closing comments. Unknown caller, Chef Rob, you with us? Okay, all righty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go out.
Wait, did Sarge already give us closing? I got to give my closing. All right, we appreciate y'all.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Brother Che. I'm sorry, Dennis Sarge.
Or go ahead, Sarge, and I'll close us out. Go ahead, Sarge.
Oh, I already gave it. I just said that after this little exercise in proto-Soviet fascist show trialism, Donald Trump raised $40 million last night. The American people see this for what it is, and they're responding accordingly.
Oh, that's what.
And believe me, they're not going to get away with this. This will meet the very definition of a Pyrrhic victory.
Okay, Sarge. All right, well, thank y'all for tuning in.
All right,
Shabaka and the Chase. The dump as in human shit. My ass got arrested.
And we want to make that perfectly clear. Yeah.
Convicted and charged and convicted of 34 counts. But that was not even the topic of the show. The topic was the brain dead refused to be resurrected. We had a discussion about these House Negroes who have pretty much sold out the Black community to racism, white supremacy. The Blacc Mayors, the Blacc Police Chiefs, the Black governors, the Black presidents, what have you, do not care about their own people. Shabaka is tired of the prepackaged bullshit. And we had an open mic discussion, and we led, unfortunately, with the dump getting convicted. But the main purpose of the title is why are people that look like us, Black faces in high places, why that does not equate to anything beneficial for the masses of our people, whatever we choose to identify as. We over here, we're Black. Some would say Moors. Some would say Hebrew Israelites, whatever, Nubian, whatever may have you, Ethiopian. But we are for our people first. So we had a very spirited discussion. We appreciate everybody that tapped in. Brother El y'all and Sister Akshita are always welcome on our platform. Chef Rob, appreciate you just listening in. Matt just tapped in on the YouTube. He said he's gonna listen to the playback. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. It was a very lively show this morning. And you can join us tomorrow. We're going to have a special edition of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced at about, I'll say about 4 p.m. Mountain. So that would be like 6 p.m. in the East.
Okay, which would be 3 in the Pacific.
Yeah. Correct, Shabaka.
Okay, yeah.
And what
okay, 3 in the Pacific. Okay, on that one right there, Brother Che, that there is pretty much open mic.
Okay. So we're going to have another open mic.
Yeah, I believe.
Tomorrow, so make sure y'all tap in. We're going to simulcast it on StreamYard as well. So y'all be able to check it out on YouTube and Facebook, on Frontline Black News page. So I'm going to leave with this. We are under the system of racism and white supremacy that controls all 9 areas of human activity. That is economics, entertainment, labor, or education, labor, law, politics, sex, war, and religion, and some say health and nutrition. But either way, what we identify as, is that going to help us to defeat this wicked system and replace it with a system of justice, which guarantees that nobody is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those that need the most constructive help get it in a constructive manner. That is the code that we live by the great master teacher, Neely Fuller Jr., compensatory code concept for victims of racism and white supremacy. So thank y'all for joining us for this Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. We will see y'all tomorrow for the special edition. In the meantime, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter, now X.com. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment, Moorish empowerment, whatever empowerment for our people first. And we will see y'all tomorrow. What do you want to go out with? Shabaka Ship Ahoy or James Brown on Black and on Purpose?
Yes, sir. Okay, Ship Ahoy.
Okay. Peace.
And thanks everyone for joining us.
High income and illegal migrant flooded city in a sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado.
Yes, sir.
Laid out for us. And my face is so coming in the show as well. We see you, Quinn and Matt. That's what they say, so the highways and byways. So peace, love, light, liberation, and separation, and black empowerment. We see you all later tomorrow evening for a special edition.